to because they've
Yeah.
been doing this for longer. There's the reason that they're VP of sales is because they're a people person.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, and yeah, I think like a couple hacks that you can do too are like go stalk them on LinkedIn, look them up on Facebook, look them up on Instagram, try to find some similarities that you might have with them.
Hmm.
Um, I think like if you can build rapport and like build trust, that goes a long way. Um, but yeah, they're just normal people. Like they're looking to hire good sales reps. If you can flip it on them and ask them the right questions, make it feel
Hmm.
like you're interviewing them, like
Yeah.
that's huge. But yeah, they're just normal people. People get blinded by titles like all the time. Everyone's the same. Everyone's the same.
I'll give you an example. I remember I met Ian Koniak in person, and for whatever reason, like I just had this like I'm like, oh my God, he's like that's LinkedIn top voice, which is like super rare. That's what I want to get in 5 years. And he was the keynote speaker at the Sales Success Summit in Austin, Texas, which is where all these like top 1%. He was like the number one. He had back-to-back years as like the number one uh seller at Salesforce, right? So made over $1 million. And like he would just had this like huge amount of LinkedIn fame, right? And I remember I was so weird. Like I sat right next to him and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up? I'm Ian. What's your name?" And I'm like, "Oh, Davidson." But I was like, I froze and I was just like weird. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't believe Ian's sitting next to me." And it was like, and then I was like, why am I? And then I realized I'm like, oh, it's because I put him on a pedestal, right? And then when I was at his retreat in his like beautiful lake house in Lake Arrowhead, I remember like he had like a panic attack in the morning, and I was like one of the early people, and I was just like, and it just really humanized him because like he was like freaking out, and then I was like, hey, like what's going on, and he's just like. He's like, dude, I feel like I might lose some clients because all these other keynote speakers at this conference that I put together, they were like killing it, and people are saying how much value they got from it. It just made me feel like very insecure, like, oh my God, are
Yeah,
my clients gonna lead me to all these other people? And then I was just like, whoa, but it just made me think like, I can't believe when I met you 2.5 years ago, like this is me just talking to you, like, well, this is me just thinking to myself. But I was just like, I can't believe like when I first met you, I was like nervous and I was like shaking and I'm like, oh my God, I can't. And then I took a selfie with you and I was like so happy I took a selfie. But then now Ian and I hang out and we talk like all the time, right? And it's just weird, right? Because it's like we as humans, like that's why they never say like you never want to meet your heroes. But I think subconsciously what a lot of SDRs do is we like, especially when I was an SDR, I was actually, I'm probably an exception, but I would say most SDRs, you meet like the VP of sales or the chief revenue officer, and you're like, oh my God, this guy makes like 4 times as much as I do. Like, I can't believe he's talking to me. And like that energy is weird. Like people could sense it. Like they're gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm like kind of uncomfortable. It's like this guy kind of is almost projecting his or her own insecurities onto me. So easier said than done, but just human like just think of them as humans and once you have that self-awareness that you're putting people on a pedestal that'll help you because you'll be like okay like they're just normal people but it's hard like once you meet enough of these like influencers because I've met like a lot of my heroes like Lewis Howes like James Altucher like a lot of these people in real life and then I hang out with them and I'm like oh like I don't know why I thought of them as these like I remember what I interviewed Kevin Dorsey once, and he's also like a huge like LinkedIn influencer, has like 100,000 followers. And I interviewed him and I was just like, oh, this guy's like normal as hell. It's weird, but you'll see what I'm talking about. But just keep that in mind and that'll help you be able to like chill out and like not overthink things.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Do some like breath work and hit some push-ups before your interview to feel confident. Um,
Nice.